thanks for playing your idol on Nick, by the way. Yeah, don't mention it. Last Tribal, Jessica proved herself to me by doing exactly what I wanted her to do. She played her idol for Nick, which gave me the sole vote to take whoever I wanted out. And I decided to take out Georgia because I kind of thought it would be an asshole move to take out Jessica, and everybody else were either in my alliance or immune, so Georgia was mainly the only option I had. We're coming down to the end of the game, and I think the two of us will be perceived as big threats, so I'm like proposing if we work together up till the end of the game. Alright, I'll think about that. We're at Final 7 at the moment, and the season has been like a roller coaster. It's been exciting, and you either get the blind side you want, or you don't get the blind side you want, and then it can screw your game up. Now, I assisted in the move to take out Georgia by playing my idol for Nick, which is what Jim wanted me to. Now Jim is proposing an alliance between the two of us, which I don't stand for, because Jim is the biggest threat in this game, and he needs to go very, very soon. Are you even a little bit annoyed that you screwed up their idol play? Well, yes, I think it's going to look bad in front of the jury if I make it to Final 2, but I'm still here, and as long as I'm still here, I get to make some moves. You can claim that it was paranoia that got me to play it, which it was, but if I'm still here, then I can still make moves, you know? Yeah, that makes sense. I'm kind of thinking if we try and put all our effort into trying to create a Jim blindside, and I think we can get two people to do that, because if we can get that side to view Jim as big as a threat as we do, we should have a pretty, well, good time trying to get rid of him. Yeah, I see that. Look, you can call me an idiot all you want for playing my idol when I didn't need to, but I did feel paranoid, right? Which is weird for me. I've never really felt like that before, but I'm still here in this game, and that is the only thing that matters to me at the moment. If I went out last Tribal, I would be very disappointed, especially if I had an idol in my pocket. So I played the idol even if I didn't need to, and I'm still here. Me and Jessica have a plan to take out Jim, who is arguably the biggest threat in this game at the moment to us, and he needs to go next. Hey Nick. Hey you two. Would you be up to voting for Jim? Yeah, I mean, he kind of did take out Georgia, which was a complete blindside to me, so I don't mind doing that. Cool. I know we just need to flip one person over. If we can convince that side that he is the biggest threat, then they may flip, and I think it would be smart for them to flip. So we need to put all our focus into taking out Jim tonight. Okay, cool, I'm with you. Taking out Jim tonight seems like well, it just needs to happen, because Jim is the biggest threat in this game, in my opinion. I mean, there's other social and physical threats in this game, but I'm working with Rob, so I don't want to take him out. Would I be open to working with Jim though? I mean, quite possibly yes. And the reason I say that is because I feel like, as a physical threat myself, you know, I need more shields. Jessica is only working with me for numbers, I think, not like in an alliance. She doesn't want to do the pact with Rob. Rob's the only person outside of Jessica and Josh that I'm working with, but I don't trust Jessica and Josh that much. If I wanted to, I can extend my options by potentially working with Jim, which could be a stupid idea if he gets deep in the game. However, it could strengthen my jury reputation by saying that, yeah, I considered my options and stuff like that, and I think that could be a bold move for me going forward. Look, if you guys have any questions for me, I would like to answer them. Yeah, because we have a lot to ask, because last Tribal was crazy. I'm not so much disappointed that Georgia went home. I'm disappointed with the fact that I would have loved to have helped Jim take out Georgia. And now, if he gets to Final 2, he can use the fact that it was him who did some like damage control stuff to take out Georgia, and no one else really did much there. Even though we did, I literally got Josh to flush his idol, but that's all I have to contribute to that tribal council. It was Jim who, well, controlled that vote to take out Georgia. And if I knew that was his plan, I would have absolutely helped him with that. So you can call me jealous, but that's just how I feel at the moment. Look, the way I saw it that there was no way that Jessica was going to flush her idol. Yes, I can see that. But I didn't want that idol to be out there that could be potentially used against us. So I gave her the name that was going to happen, because we were going to play our idol for Rob, and then Nick was going to pick up the majority, so then she would potentially play it for Nick, because Jessica and Nick are supposedly working together, which she did. That didn't mean that there was not going to be any votes unless somebody threw a vote on somebody else. So I decided to do that, and I chucked my vote on Jessica. Now, that is a bold move, and I respect that, but I need to congratulate you guys on your efforts, because realistically that was a crazy plan to flush both idols. We managed to flush Josh's idol, but you stayed composed, you stayed calm, and I appreciate that. Look, me and Jim are very close allies. However, I feel intimidated by him. That was a very crazy blindside, and I have a feeling that it's going to be hard to march forward in the game with him, knowing that he pulled something off. Like, if he wants to make a bold move, he will try and do it, but if it doesn't go in the right direction, he always has a plan B, a plan C up his sleeve, and that worries me, because what happens if we start to target him? He might have a plan B to that, and then all of a sudden he stays around. It's very dangerous, and we need to, I suppose, consider taking him out very, very soon. So do we have a name? Look, I'm thinking we keep things simple. I think we take out Josh. I know that Jessica is probably the bigger threat out of those three. However, we don't want another bombshell, do we? Plus, taking out Josh would be still a pretty big move. Yeah, I'd see that. Look, if I wanted to, I would present the name Jessica, because she is possibly the biggest threat who isn't in my alliance. However, I don't think I can do that, because I did make a big move last tribal, and I feel very tense right now, because I know that I'm only one, aggressive play away from people going, that's it, we need to get rid of him. So if I'd say, let's vote out Josh, who is still a big threat, but he is lower profile compared to Nick and Jessica, in my opinion. And hopefully that's a name that the four of us can agree on. How much do you guys trust him? Look, Lance Tribal was a big move, and he didn't really tell us what he was doing, but I feel like he did it. He took out Georgia. That was his plan B, but it was the best move he could have made for possibly the alliance, I feel. I know that, but it's a big threat nonetheless. That's what I'm thinking. Look, I respect the guy, but I don't want to go much in this game, go to Final 3, Final 4, Final 2 with him, because I reckon he could beat us. The deeper I march into this game, the closer my friendship with Jim gets, right? Ever since we had our conversation on the beach of Shapira, we have bonded over a lot of stuff. He was just a good guy, you know, he's a good guy. I had lost Daryl in this game pretty early on, who was possibly my closest friend up to that point. But, you know, he came in at the right time, saved me from insanity, especially in a tough period where I was struggling to find happiness in this game, especially with everything I've been through prior. And I just feel like he's just a good bloke. However, like I've said, I still want to win this game, because I need this $1 million. And Lexi and Madison are right. I don't think I can beat Jim in the end. Hey Jim. Hey Nick. Can we talk? Sure. If I want to win this game, I need to have a move that I can present to the jury. Now, that move could be pretty simple, that going along with the plan, being rational in the situation and taking out the biggest threat, or I can think outside the box. Now, I know I can beat Jim hands down in the challenge, so I'm not very worried about this coming back to bite me in the ass, but I'm willing to propose a plan with Jim to potentially keep him around, because at the moment he's a target, and I feel like I'm missing out on an opportunity to really solidify a very bold and dynamic game. Because at the moment my game has been pretty good, but there's plenty more you can do. Okay, look, at the moment, people are looking to take you out. Why are you telling me this? Because I want to do something outside the box. I'm all ears. I think me and you could work together, which means we only need 2 more people. Well, 3 if you want to bring your entire alliance, but I think they won't do that because I don't think they trust you after last tribal. That's my perspective on things. We need 2 more people, and then we can probably dictate to the end of this game. Huh, very interesting. Look, is it done? Possibly. However, I don't want to be the person at the final 2, sitting at final 2, and then being labelled as a person who rode coattails. I ain't having that. I am going to make a move outside the box. It might not be this time, but I'm willing to try and set it up. Eventually, I will have to do something. Everyone in this game has basically made some level of moves. My only thing on my side is that I had a pact with Rob, which really is quite big, but not as big as taking out Georgia, taking out David, you know, taking out Jerry for one of a blind side. I mean, I need to prove myself to the jury, and so thinking outside the box might be the way I can get into the winner's circle. Are you ready to get to your next immunity challenge? Yeah. Okay, for today's challenge, you're going to stand on a platform and hold up a gem on top of one of these poles. If you fall off your platform or drop your gem, you're out of the challenge. Last person left standing will win immunity safe from the vote, guaranteed a 1 in 6 shot at winning this game. Losers tribal council where somebody will be the 12th person voted out of this game and the 5th member of the jury. Okay, we'll draw for spots and we'll get started. Okay, everybody is in position and this challenge is on. This challenge is from season 5. You gotta dig deep in this challenge. It is a lot of endurance. So far, everyone has started out strong. This challenge demands concentration. You have to dig deep in order to win it. And this could be an important challenge for one of you. You never know what's going to happen. Oh, Josh drops first. He's the first person out of this challenge now. This challenge just goes to show that if you lose concentration for a moment, you could be out. Madison looks like she's wobbling a bit. Madison's moving a lot now. She needs to get back in control. Ooh, Madison can't hold on. She drops her gem. She's out of this challenge. We're down to 5. Everyone's been still, but you've got to remain focused. The first 2 people to drop out lost focus for a moment, and they started to wobble. Ooh, and just as I'm saying this, Nick starts to wobble a bit. Nick is desperately trying to get himself back on track. Oh, and he gets recovered. Good recovery from Nick there. Let's just see how the game evolves. Oh, and only moments later, Lexi falls, which means we're down to 4. They are Jim, Rob, Jessica, and Nick fighting it out for immunity. You've been going for 1 hour, by the way. Congratulations. Keep it up. Just as I say that, Jim looks like he's starting to wobble now. Jim is really starting to wobble. Jim gets back under control. However, Nick looks like he's wobbling again. Nick is moving around. Oh, and Jim drops his gem. He's out of this challenge. Nick is still trying to get under control. Another good recovery from Nick. At the moment, Rob and Jessica have stayed stone cold for the entire challenge. Nick has been battling with himself, but you guys have stayed strong. You've been going for 1 hour and 10 minutes. Oh, and seemingly out of nowhere, Rob drops his gem, meaning we're down to 2. It is Jessica and Nick fighting it out for immunity. These 2 have had completely different challenges today, Jessica has not moved. Nick has moved around a lot, but you've been up there for a while now, so keep it up. You guys have been going for an hour and a half. Keep it up. Ooh, Nick begins to struggle again. Nick is moving around. His gem is going everywhere. Nick is really trying to keep a hold of his gem. And he's done it again. Another good recovery from Nick. Oh, and Jessica, out of nowhere, falls. Which means Nick wins immunity and is safe from the vote. Congratulations, Nick, on winning immunity. Guaranteed spot in the final 6. As for the rest of you guys, Trouble Counter tonight where somebody will be the 12th person voted out of this game and will become the 5th member of the jury. It will not be you. Alright, grab yourself a bet to camp. I'll see you guys tonight. Look, I probably didn't need to win immunity challenge today, but I did, and I'm not complaining at all. I still have a plan in motion tonight, and I plan on trying to follow through with it. If it fails, I have my bulletproof vest. Congrats, dude. Thank you. Yeah, well done. Another immunity challenge win for you. Hey, stop it. I feel good. And that's all we need to know. I don't want to gloat. Look, I lost the immunity challenge, which hurts. I really tried to win that one because I knew my name was out there. But now I've got a lot to rely on. I've got Nick, who wants to make something big happen. And all we need is 2 more votes, and we have a majority. I'm very worried that it won't work because I feel like everybody here perceives me as a threat. And if they perceive me as a physical threat, then what's the point in keeping me around? So I'm very worried tonight. So we still doing gym? Yes. So that's still the plan. Yep. Alright, cool. So we need to flip somebody. Look, I think Madison, because, you know, Lexi and Rob have been working with Jim for longer. Yeah, that makes sense. But should we try and go around trying to get a bonus number, perhaps, in case things don't work out? Because I can orchestrate that. Cool. What do you want me to do? Do whatever you want, but you can, like, kind of maybe distract Jim if you want to, like, prevent him from maybe going looking for an idol if it's still out there, or trying to make a move, or trying to keep people on his side, if you want to do that. Sure. Cool. All 3 of us got a job to do. If we can pull it off, we make a big move in this game. Jim has to go home tonight. He's too much of a threat to keep around. And tonight our plan is to try and flip a couple people and keep Jim completely out of the loop. And if we can do that, which will be difficult, but we can do it. It's not like we're trying to flush 2 idols. If we can do it, then we take out Jim, pretty simply. That's basically the goal tonight. It's pretty simple. It would be a big move on my part, be a big move on a lot of other people's part, but I don't care if there's a lot of people involved with this blindside against Jim, and that I'm not going to get full credit for it. I need him gone, because at the moment he is the biggest threat. Alright, Rob, Jim already knows about this, but how do you feel about the 3 of us working together tonight? Huh. Well, you 2 are my favourite people in this game, so I don't mind doing it. Cool. All we need is a 4th number and we're good to go. Any suggestions? Not Josh. Well, obviously not, because he's going to go and tell everybody. It's got to be Nixie, guys. I mean, I feel like she might not trust me. Yeah. Madison and Lexi both don't trust you, but I think you're right. Lexi's the better option because she trusts you, she trusts me. She might not 100% trust Nick, but you know, if she trusts us, she would probably want to work with us. And I feel like it's up to me to try and get her to flip. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. She probably trusts you the most. If we can pull this off tonight, though, we do need a target. Anybody in mind? We could potentially try and take out Jessica. Big threat, big physical, strategic threat. Or do we want to keep things simple and take out Josh? I don't trust Josh as far as I can throw. Yeah, he's a very loose cannon, but is Jessica just that much of a bigger threat that we want to take her out now? I'm very intrigued with this alliance. Now at the moment we have 2 names. We have Josh and Jessica. Jessica is probably overall a bigger threat. Josh would be a very simple vote to get this newly formed alliance off the ground, and he's also a very big chaotic player that would be nice to get rid of, because you never know what he's scheming. And just because he is on the bottom, that doesn't mean he's out of the game. Whereas Jessica though, she is more, let's say more complex. She's just more rational, I feel, than Josh, and that makes her a huge threat in this game moving forward. She is physical, she is strategic. They both have good reasons to take one another out. The question is which one's better. But that's only step one. We can always come up with a name, but then we still need a fourth person to make this thing official. Look, we talked about it, but it didn't quite work because of the idle frenzy that happened last tribal, but I think the two of us should really consider getting back on that bandwagon and working together again to the end of this game. I do want to work with you. I couldn't last tribal because we already had a plan in motion. Why? Who are you targeting? So me, Nick, and Josh are voting for Jim. What do you think? Look, I'm completely down to do that. I really am, because Jim is a huge threat. He proved that last night, and I know that. Yeah, look, well, let's do it. Take him out now. Better now rather than later. I completely agree. Taking out Jim would be huge, and I think Jessica's right. You know, this is the time. Strike while the iron is hot, and at the moment the iron is so hot it's melting. So it's time to take Jim out. You know, we have zero connection, right? Yes. I see an opportunity to work with you going forward because no one else is going to see it. We've barely had a conversation. It's a very interesting thought. You want to win this game and you want to go deep, right? Yes. I don't think many of us will be able to beat Jim. I personally think I could, I personally think you could, but he'd be very, very difficult to beat on a good day. I know you're close to him, but I'm willing to work with you because I don't think anyone would see it, but you need to take out Jim because he's too much of a threat to keep in this game. I mean, he's strategic, he's got a good social game, and his physical game's not bad either. He's got like all three aspects down, and those are the most dangerous players in this game. Interesting thought. Look, I'll think about it. So, I have zero connection with Lexi at all, so to get her to work with us is going to be very difficult. I, for one, have to come across that conversation as not typical Josh. If I came across as typical Josh, you can wave that possibility goodbye. I came across as strategic Josh, something that's been a bit in hiding lately, but he's still there. He popped out for a bit. I talked to Lexi about potentially creating a connection that no one would see, which was a lie. I have no intention of having a connection with her. I just want her as a bonus number, because if Madison is not going to work with us, then we need a second alternative, and that tonight being Lexi, because I don't think Rob will work with us, because I think he's got too much of a close connection with Jim to want to flip. I know Lexi would probably have the same thing, but I think Lexi's just a little bit more strategic. Lexi, I know I'm the target tonight. What you're not, I do know though. I've been told, and I know I'm going to be targeted. Now, I know that people are going to try and wrap you up into a plan to take me out. I'm proposing a plan to take out Josh. Now, Nick and Rob are on board. Why Josh? Well, it's Josh or Jessica. I would prefer to take out Josh because I still think I have a connection with Jessica. I have more of a connection with Jessica than I do with Josh. And that's why I want to take out Josh more. But that's our plan tonight, is to potentially take out one of those two. And I need you to do it with me. Even though people will try and rope you into a plan to take me out. Well, why should I do this though? Lexi, we've worked together for this entire game, and I fully am prepared to take you to the final two with me. I fully am. You know, people like Josh and Jessica aren't. They're doing it for themselves. They just want to get deeper into this game. I will never abandon one of my allies. You know, I never voted for David. David got taken out. You know, I feel like me and you, I promised to you that I will take you to the final two. That was the promise we made, that me, you, and David would go to final three. But now I just need to take you to final two. I will never stab you in the back. Jim knows how to pull heartstrings. Was he genuine? He's been genuine with me this entire game, so I think he is. However, just because he is genuine doesn't mean that's going to entice me to work with him. I'm interested in the idea of taking out Josh, I really am. He says he's probably got a small connection with Jessica, which could go somewhere. I doubt it, but it could go somewhere. However, we did make a deal that we would go to the final two together. He's very genuine that he won't stab me in the back, and when someone says that to you and they are genuine about it, you don't go, oh, I don't care, I'm just going to take you out. If I vote Jim out tonight, which I still feel like is a good move, I will do it because he's a big threat. That is the reason. If I work with Jim tonight, that's because I trust the guy and I want to go deep in the game with him, because we've worked so hard to get to this point together that it just seems a bit stupid to break it now. We're not even at the end of the game, we're still quite far away, and I need an ally who trusts me, you know? So do I make a big move, take out Jim, potentially that might help me win more, or do I work with Jim because Jim is my closest ally to potentially get it deep in the game? Very interesting. Do I make the strategic move or the social move, and that's keep my ally around? It's a very difficult question. Okay guys, we're putting down Josh's name. That's the name I've given Lexi. Yep, cool, let's do it. Tonight's tribal will be interesting. I am attempting to play outside the box, make an interesting move, and hopefully take Josh out. If it isn't Josh, then Jim goes, and then me and Rob have to try and figure out what to do from there. So hopefully tonight it's Josh, and that will hopefully spark my game towards the end to hopefully pull off this win. Welcome, Mogo Tribe, to another tribal council. First things first, we're bringing the members of the jury. Mike, Marjorie, David, and Georgia voted out at the last tribal council. Okay, Nick, you win another immunity challenge. Obviously you're feeling good, but how do you feel going into the end game of this game, knowing that you could be perceived as a target? Well, it's been said many times, Jeff, that physical threats will be targeted, and yeah, sure, that scares me, but like it's been said many times this season, there are tons of bigger threats here that don't meet the eye, you know? Some sneaky players behind the scenes. Lexi, who do you think Nick is referring to? I think he's referring to the players who have made bold moves, and yeah, I mean, I agree with him. Like, you could be perceived as a physical threat, but if you start targeting them, you're taking out the other aspects of the game. So, Madison, how do you feel coming into Tribal? I feel confident, Jeff. I feel like the plan that is set in motion will be achieved, and it'll be quite simple, really. Rob, what about you? Do you feel like your plan will be successful? You know what, Jeff? I have a very bold plan coming into Tribal tonight, and I hope it's successful tonight. Well, we will find out. It is. Time to vote. Madison, you'll start us off. Look, I'm just very terrified at the moment, so Josh, I very much hope you do the courtesy of just leaving tonight. Jim, if you go home tonight, I feel like I get handed the $1 million check already, so hopefully you go home tonight. I'll go tally the votes. Alright, if anybody has a hidden immunity on and would like to play it, now would be the time to do so. No? Okay, once the votes are read, the decision is final. Person voted out will be asked to leave the Tribal Council area immediately. I'll read the votes. First vote, Josh. Second vote, Jim. That's one vote Josh, one vote Jim. Third vote, Jim. We are tied. 2 votes Josh, 2 votes Jim. Fourth vote, Josh. We are tied again. 2 votes Josh, 2 votes Jim. 3 votes left. Fifth vote, Josh. That's 3 votes Josh, 2 votes Jim. 6th vote, Jim. We are tied again. 3 votes Jim, 3 votes Josh, 1 vote left. The 7th and final vote, and the 12th person voted out and the 5th member of the jury. Josh. Josh, that's 4, that's enough for tonight. I'll need you to bring me your torch. How long can Jim dodge bullets for? I'd say next tribal he's gone. Josh, the tribe has spoken. It's time for you to go. Well, one thing is sure tonight is that this game never sleeps. Another big blindside. I can expect possibly 4 more as we come down to the end of this game. Grab your torches and back to camp. Good night. Yeah, I'm upset. I really wanted to continue to just battle away, but man, I did not see that blindside hit me.
I really don't mind being blindside. It for me beats being humbled like I did in season 5, which that really sucked. This time around, I think it got a bit sloppy for me at the end, I will admit that, but you know, that was just me. I play chaotically and sometimes it pulls off, sometimes it doesn't, and that's just the way it works.
Well, that's just the end of my story in Survivor All-Stars. You can wave goodbye to Survivor's best villain. I don't want to hear it, okay? I am Survivor's best villain.